Hello everybody, good afternoon. So it's sometime I'm not streaming, but I did some reasoning meanwhile. So I posted about today's stream pretty much everywhere. There is just one place missing. So give me 1 second. Today is the 19th of May. Okay. So I just want to update the calendar so that we have it also in our events page. So the 19, I think I have to select this time, yes, because sometimes time zone are messing up the calendar. Okay, so I added this as well. So it should show up if you go to ensure.it. It should show up soon. I mean, it's not immediate, but last stream was about 2 weeks ago, right? I did 2 streams for the update of the new version of Unreal. So we are now on 4.22. If you want to check, or if you want to compile yourself or see what we are doing, I have a wiki page which is on planeship.top-ix.org, this one. And if you go here, there is an Unreal Engine page, and this Unreal Engine page is telling you a bit more about the release, what we are doing, and the programming. You can find how to install it. I'm just double checking everything is okay. Yeah, at the moment we are using Visual Studio 2017, and the release is 4.22.1-release. So it seems to be a fairly stable release. Let's see, we will find out very soon. Last time we also checked all the news of this release, and let's say, yeah, the news on the editor, the news on the engine, and so I think it's good. I think it's a good release. We jumped 2 releases because we were on 20, right? We were on 4.23, and now we are on 4.22.1. Okay, so one thing that I want to do is to improve the combat. So today combat is a bit annoying, and it's really not completed, and we discussed, so just to give you an overview of what combat, we had a mission for combat already some time ago, and this is a mission that we completed. It was quite some time ago, but basically was the ability to enable combat mode with a tab, import, let's say, all the shields, import some weapon, import some helms, and say be able to equip some of those items like equipping and helps and such. Then when you are in attack mode, binding the left click to attack and such. So all of that has been done. Also the ability to generate random loot and to loot an NPC and to have the NPC fight back. So all of that is done. Now is pretty primitive, I would say, right? It's pretty primitive in the way it's implemented. And so at the moment is not, I mean, combat is not really smooth, or is not really easy to, I mean, nice to play, so that's the problem. So what we want to do, we want to create a new mission. So I will create a new mission file with, let's just I think I have it open already. I have it created already. So which is combat improvement, right? Yeah, real mission combat improve. So let's which at the moment is empty, but I think we can. Let me see if I can find a good picture that we can use. If I find a picture, I can probably just go in my plane shift folder and check all the pictures. It's probably easier. Okay, let's use this one. It doesn't have, I mean, it doesn't really look like combat, but it's the same. I don't care too much. Right, this will be in the second screen, which I think anyway it's kind of okay. Yeah, give me a second. So we take just to have some characters on screen, which I think is nice. Right. I mean, it doesn't really look like a combat situation, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. So, yeah, this will be our thingy. So what do we want to do with the new improved combat? Well, actually, I have two pictures that we already discussed together about combat. So one is this one, right, which basically gives all the sequence of the combat and the client and server side and what is happening and what I need to do, you know, in the different moments of combat. So I think we discussed this one the last time. I'm not going to discuss it again. So I think is granted. We take this for granted. So if you don't know it, maybe you can go back and check the previous stream, but it's okay. We will review it a bit anyway. And the second one is a very simple one, which is this one, Combat 2, which was just an explanation, right, of the fact that today we are, when we swing, so our character is the black character here, and is hitting the red character there, and you see these numbers 1, 2, and 3. So basically, when the animation starts is number 1, when the character actually hits is number 2, and when the animation is finishing is number 3. So now the point is how to so, and today we have implemented only let's say number 1 and number 3. So they are so there is not the middle one, right? So the thing that we were saying the last time, and then I had to stop. Hello, Sway. Hello, everyone watching. The thing that we want to do is to implement a number 2, right? This one in the middle. So ensure that the character is actually resolving combat at the middle of the animation and allowing a certain amount of time, which is this arrow here, a certain amount of time where the enemy can see that the attack animation is starting and can, say, do something meanwhile. Okay, I don't know, can move, can jump, can strafe, can raise his shield. I mean, can do something in that moment, right? Hello, Tux. Hi, welcome. So we have so we have this time. At the moment, we have set our weapon to be a kind of a 2 seconds weapon, right? And so we decided a bit. I don't know. I mean, we just decided this way. I don't know if it's right or not. To say that from 1 to 2, it will be 50% of the time. Okay, always 50%. So there is no hit point indicated in the animation or in the specific weapon. The weapon just telling you this weapon takes 2 seconds to attack. And we decided that is 50% from here to here, right? So it is 50% of the time. There is 50% of the time, and the other let's say 50% is here, right? So there is another 50%. Okay, and so it's 1 second and 1 second. I mean, we decided to do it this way. I don't know if it's the best way, but anyway, we decided to do it this way. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to generate these two events. And at the moment we are generating one event only, so I think that's the problem. I think I placed in the code somewhere already a marker, if I remember right. Right? I think I placed the marker somewhere where I had to generate the second event, and I think is pretty much around here, where we have the PS game event. So let me see if I mentioned it in the handle attack, play the animation, send the cooldown info. No, I didn't specify the exact function here. No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't specify, so I think we have to search it. But it's not too hard to search, because if I search UPS game event, UPS game event, I think there's something like that. Yeah, UPS game event. Well, actually, UPS game event is the father class. Was there a UPS game attack event? No. Okay. So it's not here. I think it was inside. Should be or here or inside PS attack. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I left it exactly where I had to put it. So this function is PS attack. Maybe we can, mention it in our file, in our picture, so that we don't forget it. So the attack is triggered by the left click. Then we validate the attack with user manager handle attack. Okay, that's fine. Then we send the cooldown info client side, but here I think we are generating already the two events, right? I think we are here because this one, unfortunately, we don't have the sequence. PS attack. Right? So this is the function where we are creating. So what I can say, creating the two events, the two timed events. Okay. So this is the place where I create the two timed events. Okay, one for 50% of the time and the other for the full time. Okay, good. So what we want to know, what we want to see is that, okay, the name was UPS Combat Attack Game Event. Okay, so this one, the one I was searching. So, so let me check. So, okay, UPS Combat Attack Game Event. Decide where we want the attack animation. We divide it in two because we consider the actual to be 50. Okay, this is exactly what I told you. So we are dividing the delay. Now this one, I think we should create a new variable, otherwise we lose the original delay and we don't want it. Well, even if it's the same, right? Because no, we have to generate two, one of the full amount and one of the So let's just do a time t half delay, and we just use this half delay here. Then we have to save the delay in the environment for other scripts to use. Okay. And then here we are scheduling the delay. Actually, you see that we divide by 1000. The reason I think is that we express the delay in milliseconds, while in the database, while the timer of Unreal Engine is taking it in seconds. So I think that's the reason why we do this split. Okay. Okay, fine. So this one will use the half delay. Now we have to schedule another one. So I would say is exactly the same. I don't think there will be a lot of differences. The difference is that instead of calling the attack resolution, you will call the attack end event, right? So I need to create, yes, a new attack end event. So this is the one that you see in the comment. I already mentioned it. So we need to create. So let's see where this one is defined. This one is defined in PS attack. Okay. Should we just derive it from this? Let me think. Do we need to know all this stuff? Well, the delay in ticks for sure. Do we need to know which is the attack that we are ending? Yes, we need to know. Do we need to know the attacker and the target? Well, I think we can. Yeah, I think we can have it. So maybe it can be just a subclass of this one, just to avoid repeating everything. The difference will be only in the trigger function, because the trigger function, instead of actually resolving the attack, will I think it can be a subclass of this. I think it could be a good idea. It can be a good idea. And here, what is the difference? We need some basic stuff like the generated body. I mean, is mandatory. So, and the U class also is mandatory. So I need to declare that it is an Unreal Engine class, and I need to generate the standard body, and then I need to have let's say my standard constructor, which at this point will be empty, I think, like the previous one. I don't think I need any specifics. The setup parameter will be taken from this, so we can reuse it, which is fine. The destructor, I don't know if it's required, but if not, it's okay. All the rest is fine. All the rest is the same, right? I think all the rest is the same. So the difference will be in the implementation of this. So I think it's in PS attack and CPP. Right? Well, which is here, right? Is exactly where I was. Combat attack game event. Exactly. So here we need the trigger of this. There should be a trigger, right? There it is. This trigger. So this trigger is the one that is resolving the attack. This one resolves the attack. So we need another one, which is now our... I've never understood why these ones are not in alphabetical order, but anyway. Which is the new one that we added. So our UPS and attack combat events. Right? And in the trigger now, what we are doing, we are not doing this code anymore, because we already triggered it at 50% of the attack, right? But what we want to do, the attack count minus. So that's what we want to do, which is the one that we have shown here, attack count. This one, right? This one, attack count plus attack count minus. I think if I search attack count, so all of this I think is not needed. If attacker ID, different an attacker data, Q attack pop. No, this one we are not doing anymore. We're just clearing out attack, but it's fine. Oh, by the way, yes, we need to. So here we will have an attack count minus. I think so. And this one is, I don't remember if this one is in the attack or if this one is in the player. I think it's part of the player variable. Yes, attacker. So it's on the attacker. Okay. Let me see where we have in the code attacker attack count minus. In theory, should be there. Why is not there? Why is not there? So here I will have to do attacker. Well, I need to check if the attacker is still valid, because the attacker may have disconnected meanwhile, or something bad may have happened to him. So let me just check that attacker is still valid, and then we call. Otherwise we may end up in a null pointer. So what we can say here is that we decrease the attack count to ensure now the player can issue another attack. So it basically is releasing the lock, to release the lock, and allow the player to issue another attack. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Now I would like to see where in the code I had this, because I think I had this somewhere for sure. I mean, I must have this somewhere. Apart from here, there should be also somewhere else. End attack. What is this? End attack, check attack. Okay, this end attack is in PSCAR. Okay. So I think we can just call end attack. I think it's better, because we already have a function doing this. So I would like to avoid, doing it again. Yeah, is it in effect? So if the attacker is valid, so there is a kind of a check here that if the attacker, like if the target logs off while you are attacking him, the combat is going to stop. Now in our case, we are in point number 2, right? So we are here, we are in point number 2. And our enemy disconnected. Okay, so at this point we check if I'm still valid. So yes, if the attacker is still valid, and in that case I end the attack, so he will be able to attack again. Otherwise he will be stuck in a loop and will never be able to attack anymore. Okay, so this one we have to do anyway. Now this one is the one that I'm questioning, because this one is actually decreasing the count when I do the effect. But as we said, we don't want to do it here. So PS attack, right? So I think the effect is just coming after PS attack, I think, right? Let me see. Is in the trigger of the event. Yes. So this one is scheduling the 2. Is in the trigger. Yeah, exactly. So this one is in the trigger. Okay, so we want to do the damage, but we don't want yet to release the lock. Okay, which I think is fine. So so this one we remove it and we put a comment saying we don't want to release our lock on the attack yet. This will be done in our oops, what did I do? This will be done in UPS and combat attack event, right? This will be done in UPS attack and events. Okay, so this one we comment out, right? And so it will not decrease anymore the counter at 50% of the attack, but it will do it here at the end. So here we can say that if the attacker is valid, we're gonna do attack and attack. Okay. Okay, now that we have this new event, we have to actually generate it, right? Because at the moment we are not calling this event in any way. So we need to go back to the sequence, which is here. And we want to create exactly schedule the event to release the attack lock. Schedule the event, schedule the event UPS to release the attack lock. Okay. So that is to do, yes, it is to do. So we need, I think in the same way that we do this, it will be very, very similar. Now the question is, do we want to recalculate the timing? Absolutely not. So I think that the time we can just take. So I will do this. What happened? Sometimes the formatting is weird. So I will just do this. There is a new event which is the end of the attack, right? Everything else is exactly the same. The only difference here will be the attack delay, which we don't calculate again. There is no need to recalculate it. And there is no need to recalculate it, because we can take the half delay, which is this one, right? So we need to do this. Which actually in this case I don't think is needed, because I don't think there will be any other scripts that are going to check this particular event for, okay, anyway, let's put it there. It's not a big work, so let's put it there. This is just setting, this we don't need to do again. And this we need to do, right? This we need to do. So this is the one that is actually scheduling. It is actually scheduling the event. And it's pushing the event. Now, it's incrementing the attack counter, so it's basically locking the ability to attack again in the same time with that weapon. Now, if we'll have multiple weapons and being able to attack at the same time, I think we need to change this a bit, but for now I think it's fine. So increment our attack counter, which locks, important to know what it does, right? Which locks the start of a new attack until the previous attack is finished. Okay, so this is what it does. This attack plus plus is what it does. Okay, and I think And I think we are good with this part. Okay, let me try to compile it. Let me try to compile it. While it compiles, maybe what I can do, I can just be sure that my database is up. Just to be sure that my database is up. We're still using kind of an old database. I mean, version 5.5, but it's pretty stable, so didn't change in a long time, so I think it's good. And let me also start our SQL Workbench. Okay. Okay, we are connected, and okay, so everything is good. Now, and the thing that we discussed the last time is that I should somehow move the Unreal Engine to the SSD. The problem is that I don't have enough space. Maybe what I can do, I can move this whole crystal space directory, which I'm not using anymore, or anyway, I'm not using much anymore. Which I think it should be pretty big because it's the wall. Yeah, it's 12 giga. It's 12 giga. So maybe I can move this. But I have to find a way, because like now it's taking a bit more time because the disk, if you look and check, the disk performance, the disk 0, which is the SSD, is basically not working at all. But there is quite some activity, well, not too much, but there is quite some activity on the other disk, where so on C we have the plane shift Unreal Engine, and on F we still have the main Unreal Engine directory. So you see that when I compile, even if I compile only the plane shift piece, is still reading a lot. Well, not a lot, but I don't know what is the bottleneck. Now I'm trying to understand, but it's not really much. But I think if we move the whole Unreal Engine to the SSD drive, we will have a benefit. The problem is that the wall is about 100 giga, so it's very big, and we don't have 100 giga at the moment in this SSD. That's the problem. I have 75 giga available. So the idea was to buy a new SSD. But if I move, I think the crystal space to maybe this disk, or to this disk, because I have space, but I have space in disks which are standard, let's say, SATA disks. So okay, anyway, it completed. It actually failed. Let me see what is. Okay, yeah, there are a few. So this one is a redefinition. Obviously, should not. We can call it event end. Why not? Let's just rename the variable. I don't know why we should not use. We should not use the same variable because it will confuse. Will confuse us. Just because I copy pasted the whole thing. Event also is a redefinition, so we should call it event end, right? That was a bit stupid mistake on my side. And event event ends. Okay, so we push it here to the. Okay. Then what else? Trigger member function not declared. Do I have to declare it again, considering it was part of the parent? I mean, I can declare it again, it's no problem, but I thought it would take it from the, since I'm, maybe because it's a virtual and so it doesn't like it. I mean, I can declare it again, it's no problem. I was thinking it would take it from the father class. But probably considering it's virtual, you have to declare it on each of the classes. Hello, Sule. Sorry, I just saw your message now. How realistic is to create a combat system like Dark Souls? Well, I don't know. I think Dark Souls has the, let's say, the what makes combat, I think, very nice in Dark Souls is the speed of combat. I mean, the timing. The timing of the attacks, the defenses. So when you have to parry, when you have to defend, the ability to strive left and right, and so to avoid a hit, which is pretty nice. And in general, the feeling of the monsters. I think that the power of Dark Souls is that is making very challenging combat and action, and so it feels that the combat is nice and challenging, also because it's actually a bit hard to play. But I don't think it's very hard. I don't think they have a very complex combat system. So I think the combat system is just smooth and very well timed, so that you have to move in the right way, and you have to time your attack in the right way, and you have to then parry and strafe in the right way. So that combination of those movements. But if you think about it, they're pretty simple movements at the end. I mean, we are not speaking about many combos or a very fast-paced combat, so it's relatively simple. Now, I would not say so. So to me, is doable. To me, it's doable without too many problems. What I'm trying to do, I mean, is not exactly the same, but what I'm trying to do is not exactly the same. But for example, this one that I was showing before, which is the parry ability. So the fact that you can parry a specific attack, and you cannot issue a new attack until the attack is finished. I mean, it's pretty similar, if you want, to Dark Souls in that respect. But what do you have in mind when you say Dark Souls? I mean, is there any specific parts of it? Okay, now it succeeded, so it compiled. It succeeded. So what we want to see that when I trigger, when I left click and I attack a monster, right? Oh, by the way, we didn't create our mission, right? So I'm speaking, but we didn't create our mission. Let me just create some basics of our mission. So the basics of our mission are to split the attack into two parts, right? So that is the first part that we are doing, and so 50% of time is the resolution of combat. 100% of time is unlock of next attack. Right? By the way, this has to work. This has to work also for NPCs. At the moment, does it work also for NPC? I think that we have to check that. So they are actually scheduling the next attack at one. So because you know what, I think at the moment the NPC will schedule the next attack at 50% of the time, because it is where we do the combat resolution, and I think that is not what we want. Okay, so these are two tasks. Or what we want to do. Then another thing I wanted to do was to be sure that when you left click also selects the target based on mouse position and line trace in front of you. Okay. And then what we want to do, we want to have client side display of the cooldown, example 2 seconds. So this is another piece that we want to do. So block the, and then we want to block, well, blocking the attack, we did it now, so I don't okay, I mean, I think it's fine. Then what we want to do, okay, let's say for now is this. Then I will add more maybe later, but for now the mission includes these steps, right? Includes these steps. Okay, so let me try to launch and see what happens. By the way, I didn't update my SVN, which is not a good idea. I should have updated it before doing these changes, but okay, let me try to update and say, because I think someone else checked in stuff. Yeah, apart from this, which are the maps, I think someone has checked in additional stuff. Exactly. It's all graphical pieces, so it should not, interfere with the stuff that I'm changing. But it's always a good idea to update SVN before start to work. Otherwise, we may end up in conflicts. Okay. Yeah, it's only graphical stuff. So now we are up to date. So I launched the server and I launched the client. I think the Dark Souls guy probably left. Are you still there, Sule? Or you left? I think you left. And there is also someone watching on Twitch. By the way, we have I'm streaming on two services. I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm streaming on YouTube at the same time. So you can you can watch me both sides. By the way, on Twitch, I think on Twitch I didn't change the Twitch. I didn't change the title of the stream, so I think he's still saying the previous one. Let me try to see if I can change it on the fly. If I can change it on the fly, 1 second. So we have the title is this one, Real Engine 143. Broadcasting now, yes it's me. Live, yes it's me. Yeah, it was still saying 140. I'm sorry for that, but they updated it now, so in theory it should be okay. Should be okay. Should be okay now. I updated it. Okay, now the client and the server are started. Let me see if there is any error or anything. I think we have a bit of an error at startup sometimes that our client is struggling to get. Oh, I still have all the levels. No, 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 no. Wait. Otherwise, it will take too much time. Let me remove because we have all the levels loaded up, but I don't want to have all the levels loaded up. Otherwise, it will take too much time. Well, not too much, but if we launch it like 10 times and every time we lose 1 minute, we lose 10 minutes, you know. So this is why I would like to remove all of this. 134 maps. Wow, that's quite a number. And let's start it again. Sorry, we lost a bit of time, but now we'll be more streamlined. If you have any questions or anything while we are waiting, please do. I mean, please ask me. If you are confused of what I'm doing and anything else, you know. Again, we are streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, so some of you may chat one side and other people may chat the other side, but I should be able to see both. Okay, so now we have this. Let me connect. It's loading up. We may have a kind of a progress bar here, but at least there is this loading thingy that is telling us that it's loading. How many people are working on the Unreal Engine version? Well, at the moment, I would say 2. So myself for all the coding and Zwei for all the art. We had a number of other people interested in the past, and like for example, there was a guy named Cyborg, which now is completely gone. I don't know. It's a pity that it's gone because it was very helpful. Which did a lot of the graphical UI. He did a lot of the client side, and he helped a lot. He really helped a lot. I think we are compiling shaders, boys. I think we are compiling shaders because I see that the server side and client side are pretty busy. You see there is this loading and is crunching. Yeah, we were compiling shaders actually. So our loading screen should maybe have a progress bar or something, or give more feedback to the client. But all the new maps, so all the maps that I downloaded and all the new art is taking time to compile the shader. Now when we release the game, this will be done before the release, you know, so we release it with already pre-compiled shaders, so it should not be a problem. So this waiting time will not be there for the final player. Maybe there will be like a one-time thingy. I don't know. Yeah, in the meantime we lost the connection because it took too much time, I guess. We are getting some errors, but should be fine. Okay, now you see the second time we logged in like in 10 seconds or so, so it's pretty good. So it is the expected time, you know. It's still compiling shaders in background. If you see shaders compiling, there is the list, and but it was in a kind of an intermediate step. Okay, so we can go in with whatever, with this guy. I think this guy is the one that we have set up properly, right? I always forget a bit, but let me do just a usual daylight mode because for some reason it's night again. Let me also move away from the we still have the jump locked in. The jump is still locked in on this character. So we still have the jump, which is kind of locked in. Okay, so but anyway, apart from the jump, which we don't really care, you see that some of the shaders are getting compiled. You see all this gray stuff. The gray stuff is because this shader is not being compiled yet, and the same for the water, the same for like these textures at the top. And you see here in the top left is saying compiling shaders, so some of this will fix itself soon as the game compiles it, because all of this has been changed compared to the last time. So two things I want to do. I want to be sure that when I go in combat mode and I click attack, the guy in front of me gets selected. So at the moment you see that it says you cannot attack an object, you see at the top, you cannot attack an object because it doesn't recognize that I actually have selected someone, which is pretty bad, but this is what we have to change, because we want, let's say, to like trace a line in front of me and automatically select that character, right? This is what we want to do. Now I select it manually. You see that there is a small circle running around it, right? So now this character is selected. Now when I left click, I didn't left click yet, but when we left click, what we want to see in the we don't get it in the client, but we get it on the server log. We want to see the two events getting triggered, right? So one at a distance of a second each. Is this text too small? I can make it a bit bigger for you maybe, because I don't know if you can see it. I would like you to be able to see what I'm doing. Maybe it is too big. No, I think it is okay. Yeah, it's a bit too big, but let's do like a middle ground between the two, like this. Can you read it like this? If you can read it, I will leave it like that. I will leave it at 20. If you cannot read it, I move it at 24. Okay. So what we want to see on the server side those two events getting triggered. Okay, so I go in combat mode. Now I left click one time. The enemy is trying to attack me for whatever reason, which is okay, but we don't care at this point. We want to see if server side we scheduled the two events. Let me just copy this log, otherwise I think it's hard to select all. Let me copy this log and put it in kind of a notepad thingy, and you know, kind of a notepad thingy, and let me see. There is all the combat resolution. Yeah, there it is. So adding event UPS combat attack game event with time 1, which is correct because 1 is the 50% of 2. The only problem is that I don't see the second one, right? Do you see it? I don't see it. We should have, because okay, adding event UPS combat event, this is good, but I was expecting also the second one to be there, no? Yeah, we have these two texts: adding event UPS combat attack event, and then we have adding event UPS end attack event. So why it didn't do this? We can go in debug mode and see if we want. Maybe it's after. Let me see if it's after. Maybe it's after for some reason, but it should be instant. No, in fact the second one is not there. So I didn't schedule the second one. It did not schedule the second one. Did we receive an error meanwhile? Maybe there is an error in between. Because here is saying adding event UPS combat event time 1. Then receive system message server side, set mode in combat mode. This guy is entering combat mode. Now we have an issue with an animation instance which is not properly set on this current character. We can check that. There seems to be a problem here. but the other event should have been, then here it triggers, so you see it triggers 14:38:38. So we scheduled it, yeah, 14:37, there it is. So we scheduled exactly, well, not exactly, but let's say 1 second before, so it's triggering at, anyway, it's triggering correct. The difference is like 20 milliseconds, which may be annoying anyway, but maybe annoying, huh? Maybe annoying. Between 45 and 68, so. Yes, Tux. Yeah, yeah, the majority is working. You can, I mean, if I go around, I mean, I have my inventory thing. I mean, I can look at my inventory. I can drop items into the ground. I can look at the items. I can pick up items. I mean, I have the full management of my inventory. I can speak with NPC. I can trade with NPC. I can do quests. I can do, apart from this jump, which is messed up, but I can um, I can speak with this lady, and I can do quests with her. Apart from the fact that this thing is exactly on her eyes, which is not nice. But you see, I can do quests. I can trade stuff. I have my exchange window. So all of this is working. So let's say the majority. I mean, all the basic functions are working now. So I think the combat is the one that also NPC can move. I mean, now she's not moving, but she will. I mean, at a certain time of the day, she moves and goes. I think it goes here to this location. Time of the day is working. Day and night is working. Um, I don't know what else. I mean, basic combat is working, but yeah, we still have some issue with combat as you can see. There is a lot done. There's a lot done. Chat, all the chat functionality, when most of the chat functionality are working multiplayer. The display of items in my character also works. The majority of the commands, like if I do /item and then I ask for an apple, I don't know if we have an apple, but anyway, you will, I don't know, but I do /item and I get my item in my inventory, so all the chat, all the say commands, most of the commands are working. So yeah, there is a lot going on. There is a lot done. Still compiling shaders. Why this one is? The content seems to be okay now. Yeah, animation are a bit bad, but we are working on it. So we're working on it. Yeah, the only problem I see is that you see on the top left, I don't know if you can see it, look at the top left of the screen. When I attack, there is already like a number going down. See, it's like 2 seconds and it goes to 0. So it is like my cooldown counter or whatever indicator that is telling me when the only problem I don't know why it's not scheduling the second attack. It's pretty weird. I think we can just debug it. I mean, you can just go in debug mode and see what else is going on, because it should generate this event. At least print out this. It's not giving an error, so it should be able to go through this. I don't know why. Oh, by the way, also saving of the character works, so everything that is saving the database is working. So yeah, a lot of stuff is working. So I think we can release in a Unreal Engine version soon. I mean, soon, I don't know, soon trademark, right? But let me try to launch it in debug mode, because there is something weird going on here. Or it didn't recompile it clean, and maybe we still have an old version of this. There is something fishy going on here, because it must at least give an error or print the string. So the fact it didn't print it out makes me think that maybe he was having an older version of this. But I recompiled, so PS editor is compiled today 423. There is this PS editor Unreal which is old though. This one is old. Maybe that one was doing the mess. This one is launching the editor. I wanted to launch the server side. So to launch the server side, you can just go here, properties, and in the debugging part, you can just say minus server, I think, minus console, minus log. I don't remember anyway. Let me see. I can see it easy from here. Server script. Boom. Minus servers minus log, yes. I mean this thing. Minus server is enough anyway. Minus server is enough. Because minus log you have to tell him where you want to log. So let's launch it server. Because basically you are compiling the same, which is a bit weird, right? But it's the way it is in Unreal. So you are compiling one set of files, and then they can run in client mode, server mode, or editor mode. So it's actually the same program that you launch in 3 different ways somehow. The database structure, no, I decided to keep the database structure nearly identical. So what I can do, I can plug in, the production database and have it run from Unreal, because I didn't want to do a migration. Now, is there something new? Yes, there is something new. In fact, there is this file that is called update schema, which tells you what you need to do to convert the old database to the new database, because actually there are some changes. There are, like, for example, skills abilities is a functionality that we didn't have, and now we have. It was not existing in the old plan shift, and so we need to create a new table. Or like in the coordinate system is different now. So it's x and sorry, y and z are inverted. There is something on traits as well, because we transform traits in numbers. So we are not sending the string a client to server, we're just sending an ID. So there are some changes, unfortunately, but because I couldn't do different. But the idea is that we keep the database the same. So okay, now the server is up. Okay, let's launch the client. Let's try to do the same thing. So attack this guy and see what this guy does. It's loading now. Loading should be quicker now, right? A bit of errors in the background, but now that we recompiled shaders, the loading should be much quicker. And in fact, you see, it's much better. So it took really like, I don't know, 20 seconds or so, and it is in debug mode. So obviously we are still suffering from the debug part. Okay, so let me try to. I have to select this guy, otherwise nothing works. Selection is always a bit weird. I I have to do the daylight trick, otherwise become night. Now when I left click, it will go in debug mode, and in fact you see that here we went in debug mode. So my PC froze. No, okay. Yeah, it's actually scheduling it now. So why was not scheduling it before? I don't know. Why it didn't schedule it before? I don't know. Let me copy the log. There was something weird going on there. Maybe it didn't recompile it all, but if I search, there it is. Okay, the two of them. So yes, it scheduled the attack game event and it scheduled the UPS and attack event. So it's scheduling both of them. And what should the release? So the point, what is the point? The point is that, let me remove the breakpoint somehow. The point is that if I try to left click like an Ant-Man, now something happens. Playing entering combat mode, but I don't get any. I don't get any feedback of what is going on. Player asks to attack on server. Okay, so maybe we didn't decrease the attack count. What is going on? Attack is not triggering, boys. So maybe we are now in a state that is not the right state. Exactly. We are in a state is not, so it's not coming here at all. It's not coming here at all. So why is not coming here at all? Maybe is maybe there is some error or some pro. So user manager handle attack. So the one we should search is user manager handle attack. Handle attack. Come on, why can I find it? User manager. Yeah. User manager. There it is. Handle attack. So here it should go for sure. Let me put a breakpoint here and just say. Okay. Up to here it arrives, so which is nice. Now, something bad happens after this. I think we didn't release the lock or something, so it's still. Hello, Abedin. How are you? Come on, IntelliSense, you can do it. If the client is alive, if the client is frozen, if the target is not there, if he's allowed to attack. So let me see if we fail here anywhere, okay? Because I have the feeling that we are failing there for some reason. He's allowed to attack someone. Well, actually it seems that he did this. So he arrives here. Yes, he arrives here without any issue. We had a bailout there. He bailed out here. Yeah, we still have attack counter on. Yeah, we didn't reset. So our end. Our second event didn't work. Why? Our second event didn't work at all. So now we are stuck in a state where the game thinks we are still executing the attack. See you, Tux. See you next time. Like the attack count is wrong. The attack count is wrong for some reason. Let me check this. Yeah, it's 1. You see, it's still 1. So it is our problem. It didn't end up. So this is exactly what we don't want to happen, because if this happens, it's a mess, right? If this happens, it's a mess. It's a real mess, because now we have no way to reset it. Well, one way I can have to reset it, if I exit combat mode, I could say when I exit combat mode, I automatically reset this attack count. The problem is that people will start to go in and out of combat mode very quick and attack, to just trick the system. So we cannot do that. Now this thing has to complete properly no matter what. It has to complete properly no matter what. So okay, let's check again the log. Maybe we learned something from the log, I think we may learn something here. So we schedule the 2 events, right? Do we have a printout when we trigger the second event? Let me see if we have. No, we don't have any printout. We have only a printout on this where we trigger. So this one I think for sure happened, right? Yes, this one happened, and in fact we had the combat resolution, which is all this printout, which is a pretty huge printout for now, but it's sending the animation attack and all of that. But it seems that, so I think we need to add, let me add just one thing here. It should trigger though, I don't understand why it's not triggering. UPS combat and attack events. So let me try to, maybe we can even add a breakpoint and see if he actually triggers or not. Okay. So let me close this. Let me stop the server, launch it again. We did a small change to the code, so I need to recompile, but it should be fairly quick. Should be fairly quick. Still compiling. Now it's running. Okay. So what we want to, sorry, I was in the other room. What we want to see, is it running? Yeah, the server is running. You can see that it's running because there is all these timestamps, so it's changing the time. It's updating the time. So let's launch the client. I don't know why the first time it didn't trigger. I think we need to delete the PS Unreal DLL because it's old and he has to recompile it. This is my feeling. If anyone wants to do a better progress bar, please go ahead, because this loading is not really nice. I mean, it's okay, but better than nothing, but not really the best. So I'm here now. I'm here now. I'm selecting this guy. It's always a bit hard to select. I don't know. When I click on the top of his head, like he's not working, but if I click on his body, then he's working. So I don't know. So now I have him selected, which is something we want to change in the future. But we want to again go in combat mode, which is just the tab. You see, I changed the combat mode with tab, and then just left click. This one we can skip. I didn't see it triggering. It's pretty bad. It seems it didn't trigger, boys. This trigger happens, but the other trigger doesn't happen. So why? I don't get it. Why the second one doesn't? Why this printout was not printed out? Let me see if it's printed out. There is only the addition of the event. You see here, there is adding event with time 1. Mistakes were made. Why you are not following, boys? Obviously, time 1 it will never trigger. It's the same time of the other one. Well, in theory, it should trigger anyway, right? If I schedule 2 events at the same time, it should be time 2, not time 1. So in 1 second, 2 seconds from now, there is a mistake. But still, why it doesn't trigger? It should trigger anyway, no? Anyway, there is a mistake. Stupid mistake. Very stupid mistake. Very stupid mistake. Because we are at the beginning, you know, and so we are at the start of the attack. So we need to. I even said I have to save it in another variable, otherwise we are losing the previous value. I mean, and then I didn't use it. So this is obviously delay, not half delay. If we do it at half delay, they like trigger together. But why doesn't trigger? That's very strange. Am I pushing the right one? Let me just check. Event end, new object, event end, environment end. Environment end, I put all this stuff. Okay, environment end define this delay, which is the full delay. Okay. And then I push event end, which is the new one, which is at delay. Yes. Maybe the triggering system doesn't work if you have 2 events exactly at the same time. That would be weird, but because I may decide to trigger 10 things at the same time. I mean, we had a problem for sure, but why? Create a new handle for to handle each timer, otherwise we override the previous timer. Timer handle, blah blah blah. Process events at least every 250 ticks. That is really not good though. The fact it didn't trigger because it was at the same time scares me so much. I mean, it made me think that it is not the right way to do it, you know? How is possible that it didn't trigger? So there is a problem in the event scheduler that because you should go through push 2 times and set 2 timers, and these 2 timers should be triggering at 1 minute, at 1 second, and at 2 seconds. I don't know. We can try it now. If now works, I'm really worried. I'm really worried because means that our event scheduler is not working properly when there are 2 events at the same time, which is a problem, which is a big problem. Which is a big problem. Let's see. Let's see if it works now. Now, if it does not work now, maybe better or worse, but maybe better because it means there is another stupid mistake somewhere, or maybe very worst, as in that event function doesn't work if the events are scheduled at the same time. I mean, scheduled, say, put in the queue at the same time. And considering that our combat is basically a huge scheduler, I mean, it's doing nothing else than scheduling events, we need that piece of code to work perfectly, So I was already worried about the 20 millisecond difference. And I was already worried about that. Now, if we add also this part, it can be annoying. But don't worry, some way we will resolve it. Some way, somehow, we will resolve it. This guy tried to attack me back, which is good, but the point is, did we get the trigger of the end event? We get the trigger of this one. The second one never triggers, boys. Why the second one never triggers? I don't understand. The second event I schedule never triggers. At least now the time is correct, but this one never triggers. I don't get why. We see it 2 times because one was the player attacking, so me attacking, and the other one was the monster fighting back. Because the monster fighting back, you see the set mode message lover character, this is the monster. So the monster is based on the same code, so he is also scheduling 2 events. Actually, for him, but I think there is a problem with the second event because this event is actually triggering properly. It's actually triggering properly. This UPS combat attack event is triggering properly. There is something that does not allow our newly created event to trigger. But I don't get any errors though. I mean, at least if I got an error on here telling me why it's not triggering. Apart from this animation instance error, but this one we had it already, so I don't think he has anything to do. Attacker's mate is not allowed to attack. I don't know why, but anyway. There are a number of errors here, which is again on the attack animation, but I don't think that this is really our problem. Here we are doing, you see, all the addition of the practice point for skills and everything else, and we resolve the combat and we do a specific amount of damage. We did 50 damage. So he gets the damage perception, and based on the damage perception he fights back. I think I have some stupid error in the code. It's impossible. I mean, he has to trigger this thing. He has to trigger. Can you help me to see if there is any error? Because I think I did something stupid here. For some reason, I'm not pushing the right event or something. I'm missing this. I'm missing the setup of the parameters. Because here I define the parameter for the math script, but actually I'm missing the parameter setup. Missing the parameter setup, boys. But why we do this thing twice? Because one is for the math script and another one is for the... I think I was missing this line, boys. I was missing this line. Okay. I think I was missing this. Because this one, I mean, our event system is a bit complicated, but basically we have a function to set up the parameter of the event, and then we have another one for the math script, and here I passed only the one to the math script, so that's why. Hello, whoever joined. Just for your information, we are streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so you may see me answering maybe some question from someone and you don't see him in the chat. The reason is that maybe he's in the other platform. Okay. Okay. We are recompiling now and running it. So it's running. It's actually running. Okay, now we should see, if it works properly, we should see the two events. And finally, my character should have the right attack count. We should be decreased when the counter finish. And if I try to click before the counter finish, I should receive an error or something saying that I'm already attacking or something. Okay, let's see. What's going on? I couldn't zoom out. I was watching his belly. Okay, so combat mode. I can disable the breakpoints. I don't think I need the breakpoints at this point because I think the breakpoint will just be annoying. I had a breakpoint anyway. Fuck it. Okay, this guy's trying to attack me. But let me see if we got. Ah, yes, I already see it here. I already saw it in the chat, in the text. Okay, so he's triggering. Now he's triggering. So now I should be able to attack again in theory, right? Yes, in fact, I'm able to attack again. We have a problem with the animation, but don't care about it for now. I think it works okay. I think it works okay. Am I doing damage to this guy or no? Can I kill him? You should have like 450. I did 50 damage again. Yeah, you don't see the attack animation, but we will try to resolve that, okay? For some reason the attack animation is not triggering. I did another 50 damage. Should die now. No? I guess that. Wow. The collision of the death animation is not working. It's not colliding with me. But anyway, I can go out of combat mode and loot him. Yeah. Then get these 2 items. And now in my inventory I have 2 new items, right? What I see is that the the collision doesn't work properly when he dies. Also, my attack animation is not triggering. But for the attack animation, we have an error that we can seek. So there is an error here. There is actually a number of errors. They are saying Smith. No, Smith is him. He's also getting the same error, by the way. He's also getting the same error. The monster. The monster also cannot trigger his animation. Well, the first time he triggers it though, because we have seen it, right? We see. Okay, let's try to. So for now, the good point is that we have the 2. Let me see when it triggers. If it triggers after 1 second, after 2 seconds. So we schedule it at 54,919. And the next time it triggers, 56,559. It's 2 seconds, but now it's missing like 30 milliseconds. $54,919. It triggers at 56. This trigger is weird though, because this one is losing half a second. Oh, it seems to be too much. He's losing half a second here. And why these two are triggering together, by the way? You see? You see that these two are triggering exactly at the same time. A bit confused here. I'm a bit confused. So we schedule one with time 1 and another one with time 2, right? At 549119, right? So, but then we add two more. Why we add these two? At 55, we add two more. I think this is the answer from the yeah, it's the answer from the NPC. Maybe we can print out the attacker name, otherwise is hard to understand. We can add the attacker name and we can see. Yeah, let's do this. Otherwise, we'll never understand what's going on. So in this trigger, let's add. I think we have the attacker, right? We should have the attacker, which is this guy. So we can say trigger PS combat event attacker percentage S, and then here we just add this attacker. There should be a get character name. Okay, there is an F string, so it should be escaped like this, and we can do the same here. So at least we have the name of the attacker that we are scheduling. I think we can do the same also in the actual scheduling of the event, so that we can read it better. For attacker percentage S, and we can do the same here. Okay, so at least we see who is it, right? Otherwise it's getting confusing. But anyway, it seems to me that it triggers okay, right? Then there must be a sequence of, the one triggered by the monster, the one triggered by us. But okay, let's try to solve this issue with the animation, because I think it's a bit annoying that we get this error. This is server side, by the way. This is server side, so it looks like our animation instance is not set properly. So just 1 second, because they are asking me if there is our test server up. because someone wants to work on it. Our test server. I can check if it's up. 1 second. Let me go to. Login. Yes. So we have one test server which is for the old game at the moment. It's not in the new game, and it is the IP that it gives me. Let me just check if my IP is this one. Yes, the IP is correct. The IP is correct, so the machine should be reachable. 1 second. 1 second. Step. Okay, sorry. The machine is not running because it's trying to run, but it fails. Okay, so I just informed the guy that we have this problem. Okay, so just one. So the problem is that for some reason the animation is not triggering, right? Even the character animation. But the first time it seems it triggers and then it doesn't trigger again. I didn't pay too much attention to it. Let me just launch it again and see, right? Is it the first time triggering? The one of the monster at least it looked like it was triggering the first time. But the one of the player I never saw, right? I was not paying too much attention if the character was swinging his axe. Did you see if he was swinging? Okay, should be up. Where are we? I mean, why the animation is not, because the triggering of the animation is pushed first of all server side, and then client side as well. Okay. So let me just check because I didn't pay attention. No, it's not triggering. My animation is not triggering for sure. His animation is not triggering as well. So let's analyze the logs in a good way, okay? Because we have two logs. We have the client log and we have the server log. So on the client side, we are getting a small error on the outline, but this one is not, should not be the problem. Should not be the problem. Is in the drawing of the outline. Also, this part is not an issue. This is before we start to attack. So the attack happens here, entering combat mode, right? Player clicks on attack, is attacking, normal stance, blah blah blah, right? So we need to debug why, let me get the log. Let me get the log and we analyze it, okay? So this is the server side. This is the server side log. All this part is just initialization, so I would say all of this is nothing. All of this is a begin play, so it is still loading the characters. So all of this, so this is very verbose, but creating UI. So all of this is nothing. Okay, init game state complete. This is when the game finished to initialize. Then there is the selection of the character. So when I click on the character and I select it, right? I select the enemy, I think, or no? No, this is the character selection in the main screen. Yes, probably. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is still loading his inventory and doing all that stuff. Okay. Entering combat mode. Set target object. Okay, set target object. This is me clicking on the monster and selecting it. Okay. This is me entering combat mode. So when I press tab, and this is already fucked up here because you see it's at the same time. So this error is triggered already when I click on the tab, when I enter combat mode. Why? I'm server side here. Huh? Then player has to attack on the server. Request attack. Is attacking. Yeah, but then we get again the same error on the animation. Okay, so I think we need to understand if this animation instance is properly set server side, because I think that maybe it's set only client side. So we need to launch the editor and see. You need to launch the editor and see. Okay. The editor is up. Stories Untold available for free. Stories Untold is a narrative-driven adventure. Okay. So what we need to do? We need to check in our character blueprint, right? Because that one I think is in PS character blueprint for sure. And we need to search this animation instance. Animation is actually animation instance is set on the animation blueprint, if I remember right. If I search anim inst here, I don't think I will find it. Player initialization, server side only, begin play. If is dedicated server is false, we set this variable only client side. Why we set this variable only client side? Why we set this variable only client side? Why we set it only client side? I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm okay in setting up the UI only client side, but I don't know if I agree to set this only client side, because this is exactly the one that is giving us the problem, you know. So let me try to change it. So this one will be, why we say server side only begin play is exactly the opposite. It's client side only. So everything that goes after this is only client, right? I don't understand. Continue only if on client. Right. Continue only if on client. So that's the. So this one I would like to do it before. And so this one will be done anyway, right? And I don't like this organization. Why we have this thing? Because there is just a print string, right? It is just a print string of some kind. But I don't like too much the fact. Let me just put it in a straight line. Why can it be in a straight line? So yeah, exactly. Why can it be like this? Okay. So what do? We just print out that is a begin play, and it is printed out both client and server. Then we initialize the animation instance on both client and server, which will then be used in many places in the code. Then we continue from here only if we are on the client, and if we are on the client, we start to do specific setup for the camera, for the UI, menu icons, play. So bunch of stuff that is relevant only if it's client side. Okay, which is fine with me. But I think this animation instance, we need it, otherwise the server will fail. Okay, so I save this. I want to close the editor because I want to be sure that I'm not messing up. I'm just checking here, like this PS Unreal DLL. I think this one is the one that is runtime and is not up to date. So if I launch it in Visual Studio with the F5 with the debug run, it works. But if I launch it without, I think it doesn't work properly because the DLL is old. Okay, server is running. Client. So let's see if something changed. We see the animation of the enemy, but we don't see our animation. Okay? See the animation of the enemy, but no, let's see if the error is gone or if we still have the error on the animation instance. I don't see the error anymore, right? Right. No, I see. No, actually, that error of the animation instance is gone. So, which is good, which means that we are now properly assigning that variable also server side, and that was required. Okay, that was required, which is nice. But still, we have another problem. Receive attack animation. Receive attack animation. Create return value. Level character BP. Receive attack animation. Okay, so we are having it, but why our character is not swinging his weapon? Because in theory we are the first one to attack. Let's say our name is this one, Rerarir. So we are attacking. We are scheduling the two attacks. After this scheduling, about 1 second after, and this is pretty good because it's like exactly at that time, so from 13 to 60 to 14 to 64. Okay, so we lost only 4 milliseconds, which is perfect. We are triggering our attack. The point is that we should have sent the animation kind of here. Didn't I add a printout where we were saying we were sending the animation? Tries to attack with melee weapon. Is attacking. Schedule to event. Receive. System nice. Set mode combat in current character. Entering combat mode. Starts attacking. Don't know if we are sending the animation. Are we sending the animation, boys? Attack. I remember I had a. Yeah, I think we had this. Decide where we want the attack animation. Attacker. Receive attack animation. Attacker 1 delay. No, I mean, this is no more the case. By the way, it's not where, but it's when. Receive attack animation. So here, in theory, we should start the animation immediately, because this one is going on the editor. Receive attack animation. So at the moment we are saying, I mean, the animation should be triggered immediately. Attacker 1 delay. Why I'm asking, why I'm having this parameter? I think it was the previous way where I was pushing the animation at the end of the attack, but that's a very bad idea, so I don't want to do that anymore. So I think that we have an issue just in triggering the animation. I can go and check it. So let's go on the editor and let's check when we send server side the attack animation. So basically, just to go back to our chart here, the left click is okay. The validation of the attack server side is fine. The display attack animation, which is bad. I don't know why I marked it as green, but actually is not working as expected. Hello, Tua. Welcome. So let me see. I want to see when we send the animation. So the function is receive attack animation. Okay, it's this one. This one should say to the server to trigger the animation. Now, which animation? Well, it says attack animation, so I think we have we assume is the right one. I think we may have different animation by type. Like one-handed, two-handed, melee, or things like that. Or shooting an arrow. Right? Shooting an arrow would be different for sure. It's taking forever. I think it's still using a lot of the other. You see, disk 2 is 100%, you say? This is the non-SSD disk. So this is why I'm saying that I need to move the Unreal Editor on the SSD, but I don't have enough space. So I have to free up space and move it, because it's now we are waiting just the disk to finish its work. I don't know what it's doing really. Okay, start. Okay, started. So it should be inside PS character, because actually we are triggering the attack animation starting from the attacker. So the which is a PS character. Yeah, still reading a lot from the other disk. So this change was a good change, but so let's search for receive attack animation. Okay, event receive attack animation is here. Event receive attack animation is the attacker, the type of attack, and the speed factor. Okay, the display cooldown widget is the one that okay. Create cooldown widget. That is executed on owning client. Okay, so this one is the one that is creating the widget. Okay, and it's fine. Now the attack animation should be this one. Anim attack multicast. He's taking the attacker and he's going here. Executes on server. Yes and no. Why I'm not passing in the target anymore? Anim attack multicast. Anim attack multicast is this one, but it doesn't have the parameter. Is it automatically on this character? Okay, maybe it is. It is automatically on this character. So it executes on all. So in theory, execute on all the clients, and it should play this animation with target self. Is this targeted? I'm a bit confused. I'm not 100% sure if this target is okay. And he's playing the animation attack. How does he know? Play animation attack. Okay, so this one is overridden. This one is overridden in each of the characters. So if we take our cran character, which I guess is this one, we should have exactly a play animation, which is this. We should print out is attacking, which actually this is happening, right? Because in our log we see this line. we see this line. We see it only server side, but is attacking. Bro, it then does nothing. This is not connected to anything. So what? Why is not connected to anything? Am I missing something or what? I mean, attack is not connected to anything. Hello. Hello, David. I don't know if it's ways here. I need this thing to be fixed. But I think we are in the right track. We are absolutely in the right track. We are absolutely in the right track. Oh, believe it or not, I'm cold. We are in Italy and we are in freaking May. We are in May, but it's raining. It's raining a lot, and the sun is basically nowhere to be seen, and it's freaking cold. I don't know how many degrees, but I don't know how many degrees there are. I think not too little, but it's still feeling. I'm feeling really cold here. I don't know why. Why I'm feeling so cold, bro? So it says it's 17 degrees. I mean, 17 is not terrible, but 17 degrees with 70% humidity and 8 kilometers per hour wind. Precipitation 0%? I don't know. Well, maybe yes. At the moment it's not raining anymore, but it was raining before. You see? Anyway. Okay, so the problem is that we don't have this thing connected to the thingy. So let me check if Zwei is available by any chance. Okay, so for some reason this is not connected to any attack animation. I mean, we have the in combat. In combat, I think is the combat stance. So when I enter combat, and the casting, the hit, the alive is when he's dead or not dead. But there is this thing. Input action attack is attacking. Just 1 second, there's a guy calling me. So I think I changed this. Yes, I think I changed this because I wanted to test. I wanted to test So input action. Let me just, I don't remember because I did it some time ago, and I had, let's say, the attack animation trigger when you were clicking with the left mouse. Which I think that now doesn't exist anymore. Mouse X. What is mouse X? Mouse X. I mean, mouse X is the horizontal. Like if you move your mouse horizontally, what the hell? I think this thing is not proper. I think that one was a test from my side. Let me see an altered character. Ah, you see. It is just doing this. Playing the animation montage, blah blah blah, montage attack, play rate 1. So exactly, I think this one is the one I need. I think in the current character I did some tests, but those tests were not really. What happened? I just wanted to copy this. This one can be deleted, I think. So I think what we need to do, yeah, it's a bit busy. Maybe I can. What about moving all of this down? And moving all of this down. And okay. The only problem is that here I'm server side, you know. So I just want to be sure if I do this, which seems okay to me. Anime montage attack. I think I have it only for the. I have it only for this, for the Noltrir lady. We can use the Noltrir, it's not a problem. I can do the Noltrir one, but otherwise, the other way, what is the other way? The other way is that we just trigger, because if I do this, it will not work, because this character doesn't have a montage, so it will not trigger at all. It will not trigger at all. You see all these animations. Montage attack. Okay. So this is the montage attack, but the CRAN doesn't have this. But actually, he has a montage combat. Ah, it's called montage combat. Okay. I mean, fine. Okay. So we have a chance. So we can, if I do montage combat, there it is. And then there must be a section in this montage which has a name, right? Is this thing named? I'm not very familiar with montage. Actually, I'm really not familiar with montage. Is there a name you associate to a specific part? Because it's asking me a name, you know. You see that this one is called attack, but the one in the CRAN is called default for some reason. Why is called how do I change the name of this thing? I mean, I can call it default for now, but it would be best if all the ones were called the same way, you know? It would be much better if all those things were called exactly the same. Hmm. Just 1 second. So do you know how I can change this montage name? Blend option. I would like to have it called attack. I would prefer to have it called attack. But so the montage is here. What can I do? I can montage group, default group. The montage group is set by the first lot group. Okay, and then inside of this there is one thing called default. I can do a new montage section. I can do a new slot. I can set elements, but I would like to change this name. While here, for example, is attack. You see, here is attack. Preview attack. Can I change this? Preview this track. Animation montage attack medium. Attack. I don't understand where are the properties of this piece. Is it here? Asset. No, this is the skeleton. This is the asset. So this is the lady, right? The nice lady beating your head. But okay, we can just use default. I don't know how to change it. Preview controller, apply to asset. This is all the stuff that makes. Should we search it? Montage section. How do I change it? It looks like it's here, you know. It like it's this one. Create default clear preview all section preview element timing. Okay, let's try. Unreal Engine, how to rename a montage section. I mean, how do you? Delete segment, open asset, new montage, new slot, there is slot, duplicate slot, settlement. New montage section. Okay, start. Fuck, I cannot rename it. Come on. Rename slot. Ah. 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 Ha, 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 ha. What is this? What is this thing? A name slot man above. You may need to create a new slot, which can be done from the by clicking on the magnifying glass. Okay, so if I click here, slot, the default slot, attack slot, attacking slot. These names are weird though. New slot name, attacking. I mean, this attacking slot is not the same as attack. So confused. I'm so confused. Default slot. Okay, let me try to rename this. Rename slot to attack. Rename default slot. The following montage contains slot references. Choose an item. Remove or change the reference to proceed. Crime and each blah blah blah. Blueprint name blah 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 blah. So if you rename it, it gets upset. So it doesn't allow you to do it because it's saying that he's using it. Well, he's using it okay, but can you freaking? So confused about this thing. This UI is really weird. Can you understand it? I don't know. There is a default group here. Here I can have a different, which seems to be these slots, right? I could in theory add a slot, but then what? I can add a new slot that is called attack. Let's try. Okay, this new slot attack. If I go to attack, is like this, so it doesn't really do anything. So, why is not called attack, by the way, considering I named it attack? It's still called default. I don't know. Okay, I can delete it if it's not used in the preview. Okay, anyway, it's called default, boys. I cannot change it, so I think we stay as default for now. Then maybe someone smarter than me will do it. So we should place here default, right? If we place here default, I really don't like the fact that you have to hard code. You know, you have to hard code kind of the thing is here. There is no selection. I mean, I can select the montage, but then I have to select the section name manually. typing some text. That is a bit weird. Why there is not like a drop down of all the ones that are defined here? Because he knows the ones that are defined. By the way, I don't even know if it's called default or if it's called default slot. I have no idea. But anyway, we connected it, okay? We connected it to this. And we said, please play this default. The problem is that I don't want it to play in a loop mode, right? I want to play it only once. How do I say that my animation montage should be played only once? Hello, Zalipanda. I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I answered to you like 10 minutes after you sent the message. I'm sorry for that. I mean, we can try like this and at least see if it triggers, okay? I think it should trigger. The problem is that I think it will trigger continuously. Like you will see him attacking, right? While in theory we don't want that. But let's say the good news is that at least we fixed the animation error. We implemented the time the way we wanted with the two events, and we are triggering the two events, which is nice. So let's see if it starts. It's compiling. It's compiling. We are waiting compilation. Okay. Don't panic. Waiting compilation. I think I can also launch it outside of Visual Studio now, which will be a bit quicker. We don't need to launch it in debug mode at the moment. We just want to see how the blueprint is acting. I think I will stop streaming in about 10 minutes or so. Maybe I will stream again tonight. I don't know, but I think I will stop soon. I just would like to reach the point where we see the animation and okay, the server seems to be up where it's still level streaming, but I think we can start to launch the client meanwhile. This part is super big. The point is that I have a lot of games. Well, this is all old games, so it's not new games, but all in the SSD. I should try to move this stuff because it's taking a lot of space. Okay, client is up. Loading in. You'll see the disk number 2. This is what is slowing us down. I need to fix this. I need to move that to the SSDs. There was this guy that wrote me from Twitch, but I answered so late that now it's gone. Zalipanda, I'm sorry I didn't answer to you. I answered you late. You see the window I see? There is a I see the who is speaking on YouTube and who is speaking on Twitch, which is pretty nice. It took so much time that it timed it out. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so we are in. Now we have it connected to the animation montage. We select this guy, we go in combat mode and we click. No way, didn't trigger anything. So this animation montage default doesn't work. So we need to understand, but I think the best is if Zwei is helping me, because otherwise, but on the client we should receive that, no? Character trick, draw outline. This is just the outline, so it's not the problem. But on the server side, I just don't know if it gives you an error in case the animation montage doesn't exist. Seems it's doing nothing. Seems it's doing nothing. I mean, it's not giving me an error if because we arrive up to here, which says Real is attacking. So we arrive to this point, which is exactly the one that we have in the blueprint, but then we are not triggering the animation. So, okay. I think I will stop here. We streamed for like 3 hours, I think. I don't know. Does OBS tell me how much time? I don't know. I think we started at 3 something. Yeah, about 3 hours. Yeah, 2 hours and 44. Okay, so I will see if I can stream tonight, tomorrow. I don't know, just I will see. But based on our mission, what we did, we actually split the attack in 2 parts. So I would say this piece we did, right? This piece we did. Now we didn't do we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this. We need to add the display of the cooldown. I think is done. It was done already actually. I mean, so I didn't do anything in this session, but this one was already done. What I need to do is to trigger the animation. Trigger the animation. At the moment, trigger the animation client side for all clients, by the way, because we want it to be done for all the clients, not only the one issuing the command, but we want. So this one is also missing. This one is something we need to do. Okay. With that said, I will say goodbye. Speak to you soon, and see you in the next stream.